The Chicago Bulls have completely lost control of their destiny. With inconsistent play, trade rumors swirling, and a lack of direction, where does this team go from here? Meanwhile, the Golden State Warriors are reportedly interested in Zach LaVine, while Nikola Vucevic has his eyes on joining the Warriors. Could a blockbuster trade be in the works? Would the Bulls finally hit the reset button, or are they stuck in mediocrity? We're breaking down all the latest rumors, what's next for Chicago, and whether the Warriors will make a move. Stay locked in for all the details. The Chicago Bulls are in a situation that no team wants to be in, stuck in the middle with no clear direction. They aren't contenders, but they aren't rebuilding either. They're just there. And now, with the trade deadline looming and tension building within the organization, it feels like the Bulls have lost all control of their destiny. The front office doesn't seem to have a long-term plan, and the players are caught in the middle of uncertainty. Meanwhile, the Golden State Warriors have reportedly shown interest in Zach LaVine, and Nikola Vucevic has hinted at his own interest in joining the Warriors. What does this all mean for the Bulls? Let's start with Zach LaVine. The rumors surrounding his future with the Bulls have been swirling for months. He signed that massive 5-year, $215 million deal, but ever since then, it's felt like the Bulls have been unsure about their commitment to him. Injuries have been an issue, but more than that, LaVine's fit with this team has been questioned. Is he the guy to lead a team to a deep playoff run? Can he coexist with DeMar DeRozan and Nikola Vucevic in a way that leads to sustained success? The Bulls have been hesitant to say yes to either of those questions, and now the Warriors seem to be circling, sensing an opportunity to grab a high-level scorer for their struggling roster. Golden State has been up and down this season, and while they still have Stephen Curry playing at an elite level, the rest of the roster has been inconsistent. Klay Thompson is showing signs of decline, Draymond Green has been dealing with suspensions and injuries, and their younger players haven't quite developed the way they hoped. The Warriors are in a tricky spot because they don't want to waste the remaining prime years of Steph, but they also don't want to mortgage their future for a short-term fix. This is where LaVine comes in. He's a proven scorer, an explosive athlete, and someone who could take pressure off Curry offensively. If Golden State wants to make a splash, LaVine is one of the biggest names on the market. But what would a trade even look like? The Warriors don't have many win-now veterans they'd be willing to part with, so any deal would likely involve young assets like Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, or maybe even Andrew Wiggins for salary-matching purposes. But here's the problem: LaVine's contract is massive. The Warriors already have one of the most expensive payrolls in the league, and adding LaVine's deal would only complicate things further. Is Golden State really willing to go all in on him when there are questions about his health, defense, and ability to be a second or third option on a championship team? That remains to be seen. Then there's Nikola Vucevic. He recently re-signed with the Bulls on a 3-year, $60 million deal, but let's be honest, he's been frustrated with the team's inconsistency. Vucevic is a skilled big man who can stretch the floor and rebound at a high level, but he's not the type of player who can single-handedly elevate a team. If he were to land in Golden State, he could provide them with something they've been lacking: a legitimate post presence who can also hit outside shots and help space the floor for Curry and Thompson. But if Vucevic wants Golden State, do they want him? The Warriors' system is built on movement, passing, and versatility. While Vucevic is talented, he's not exactly a great fit for the Warriors' high-paced offense. He's more of a traditional big who thrives in half-court sets. Would the Warriors be willing to change their style to accommodate him? Probably not. And if they did have interest, would the Bulls really get anything of value in return? The Warriors aren't giving up any core pieces for Vucevic, so unless the Bulls are just looking to dump salary, it's hard to see this being a major move. At the core of all these trade rumors is a simple truth: the Bulls are lost. They built this team hoping to compete, but they never truly had a real shot at contending. When they acquired DeMar DeRozan, Lonzo Ball, and Vucevic, the goal was clear: win now. And for a brief moment, it looked like it might work. They were the number 1 seed in the East at one point, but then Lonzo Ball got injured, and everything fell apart. Since then, the Bulls have been stuck in limbo. Not good enough to be real contenders, but not bad enough to land a top draft pick and start a true rebuild. And that's the worst place to be in the NBA. If you're a championship caliber team, you at least have a goal and a reason to push forward. If you're rebuilding, you have hope for the future and young talent to develop. But the Bulls? They're just treading water, waiting for something to change without taking any real action. The front office, led by Art Raskarny-Ovas and Mark Eversley, has been hesitant to fully commit to either direction. They haven't made any major trades, they haven't aggressively pursued a rebuild, and they haven't made any moves that suggest they truly believe this roster can compete for a championship. That lack of direction is exactly why the Bulls have lost control of their destiny. Instead of dictating their own future, they're at the mercy of other teams. If the Warriors decide they want LaVine, they'll dictate the terms of the trade. If Vucevic wants out, the Bulls won't be in a position to get much value in return. That's what happens when you let things spiral instead of taking control. The Bulls need to make a decision. Either they go all in and try to add pieces that actually make them competitive, or they hit the reset button and start fresh with a rebuild. This middle ground they're in right now is a disaster. They're not winning anything meaningful, and they're not developing the young players they do have. It's time for the front office to take action, because if they don't, the Bulls will continue to drift aimlessly while other teams take control of their own destinies. Let's break this down. The Bulls entered this season with hopes of making a playoff push, but the reality has been far from ideal. Injuries, inconsistency, and an overall lack of direction have left this team floundering in mediocrity. It's the same story year after year, good enough to stay in the mix, but not good enough to contend. And now, with the trade deadline approaching, the Bulls are being forced to make decisions that they should have addressed long ago. The Zach LaVine situation is a prime example of this. He's an elite scorer, a two-time All-Star, and one of the most athletic guards in the league. But despite his individual talent, his time in Chicago has been defined by one question: can he be the guy that leads a team to success? And so far, the answer has been no. The chemistry between LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Nikola Vucevic has never truly clicked, and the Bulls front office has done little to fix the underlying issues. Golden State sees an opportunity. The Warriors are struggling this season, and they need to make a move to stay competitive in the West. With Klay Thompson declining and Draymond Green constantly dealing with suspensions, they need another offensive weapon to pair with Stephen Curry. LaVine, on paper, fits the bill. He's an explosive scorer who can create his own shot, shoot from deep, and take some of the scoring load off Curry. But there are concerns. Golden State may want LaVine. Vucevic may want Golden State. But what do the Bulls want? That's the real question, and until they figure that out, they'll remain stuck